All right, hi everybody. Another minute or two. Make sure everyone jumps on here that's going to join us tonight. I know we're a little bit shorthanded. We got a lot of conflicts, but we'll record it and send it out to everybody that needs a recording of it, and we'll go from there. So give me a minute or two, and we'll kick this thing off. Okay. All right, it's 8 o'clock, and I'm a pretty prompt kind of guy, so we'll get started. Be a pretty casual conversation tonight. We're going to talk about set plays, um, just some little intricacies that could really define the game. In my opinion, um, the attention to detail and the ability to take advantage of set play opportunities is gold, right? They say, like, 60% of goals are scored on some form of set play. It might come on the second or third ball after the set play, but through the course of the corner kick, free kick, throw in, these types of things can be game defining moments, both offensively and defensively. And we want to make sure we are ready for it. And I know we don't get together as much, once every 2 weeks, and a lot of times it's half the team, so it's hard to go over a lot of this stuff in that kind of setting. And then, we only get that amount of time together, so I don't want to spend it, walking through set plays and then going through slow motion stuff. So I thought this was a better idea. Maybe we could just kind of get everybody on the same page a little bit, and see if we can take advantage of some opportunities and be prepared defensively as well for set play opportunities. So I know when I was coaching college, I coached college at Loras College in Dubuque for 20 some years. We were really good on set plays. It was a huge part of our success. We worked on set plays all the time, and you can't always predict how it's going to go, because it's going to be a perfect service or a perfect pass and things like that. But if you set up the right situation, you might get, the ball bounces around and ends up at your numbers up situation, and you're in a better spot. So there's a lot to it that's going to show that type of thing. But we'll talk about that and a few other things as well. So just little things matter. First thing I want to talk about, we're not together all that often. We only competed once. Not everybody was there. We had two different teams. So even if you're not going to Memphis, this is all important stuff that needs to be addressed and try to cover as best we possibly can, whether it's cultural or set play stuff. And I think set plays is cultural too. If your team wants to be good at set plays and is quick and makes decisive decisions, because they know what to do, that's part of culture, right? So culture is huge, right? Communicate on the field. It's such a huge thing. Coaches want kids that can communicate on the field. High five your teammates. I know I've noticed we have a lot of fun, and we have a really good, positive culture. But just to keep that going, high five on substitutions. Get excited when someone's doing something good, and we do a really good job of that. Let's keep that going. Don't hang your head on something bad. You're just gonna move on to the next play, right? Your body language needs to be strong and positive. Don't let the other team know you're frustrated. I always said, if I saw the other team, we talked about this all the time when I was coaching college. If we saw the other team hang their head or have bad body language, it's like smelling blood, right? Like, next play, we're gonna go at you. We're gonna come again. You also have to be ready for the next play. If you screw up, just get ready. There's a ton of mistakes in this sport. So just be ready for the next one so you can be better. When you're on the bench, be engaged. Watch what players in your position are doing. Know your opponent's tendencies, right? If you're playing against a kid, you find out they're left-footed. All right, you need to maybe push them to their right foot and really try to dictate which direction they go and get them off of their left foot, so they have to go right. You know, I prefer my bench standing up and being engaged and cheering during the game. Um, I think it gives momentum. I think it's not yelling anything at referees, not doing anything, telling players what to do, anything like that, but just knowing you're engaged and being positive and upbeat. When you're silent on the bench, some coaches prefer that. I'm a big let's get after it and let's let the other team know we're awake and alive and we're coming, right? Um, Warm up with teammates you don't know that well. It's easy to get comfortable when you come to practice and games to just warm up with the kids on your club team or the kids you know from home, get new people. Sportsmanship's a priority. The teammate on a person on another team goes down, help them out. Person on your team goes down, help them out. We don't have to take a knee or anything like that when someone gets hurt. It's not rec soccer anymore. Come over, get a drink, talk to your teammates, sort things out. But have the utmost priority on sportsmanship. Don't be a jerk out there. Make sure you're doing the right things to represent Iowa, represent our program, and represent ourselves, right? And then smile and have fun. That's a big thing. I mean, I just want you to. This should be the most fun thing in your life, is playing and being able to do these things. On this side, and I'll touch base on it. Parents, only positive cheering from the sideline. Do not coach from the sideline. That's a Iowa ODP and my rule. They only need to hear one coach's voice, and we may be doing things differently than you anticipate. I know we have coaches that are parents on this team, and we may not be doing the same thing, but let's not coach from the sideline. Do not say "let's go" or "come on." That doesn't really do anything. I don't know what that means. Just sit back and enjoy watching your child play. Absolutely zero communication targeted at referees. It's not tolerated. And again, at your kid, don't tell them what to do, where to go on the field. Don't coach them during the game. Like I said, they need one voice, and our voice, we may be doing something different, and we don't need to confuse or put pressure on that's not there. In addition to being the Iowa Soccer Way, there's scouts at this event, regional team, MLS, next scouts. If they see parents coaching from the sideline or yelling during the game, I promise you it looks negatively among coaches and scouts. I'm a scout for a living, right? That's what I do. And when the parents are doing things like that, coaches are like, should I take that kid? Maybe that's a negative mark against that player. If there's two players, they might drop down a notch because parent behavior on the sideline. So just be aware. Nothing that I have seen from this group at all. I just say it is a general rule to all my teams, and I always have, even my college teams. So just don't think I'm chastising anybody or thinking we do things poorly. I haven't heard anything from this group at all, so no worries there. We're going to talk about throw-ins to start with. And throw-ins are a unique thing, but I think there's a lot of things you can do to take advantage of throw-ins differently. So this is just a little app that I found and tactical board, and sorry about the ads and stuff, but I was too cheap to buy the version without ads. So we have a throw-in deep in our field, anywhere on the field, not even our half of the field. So we're the black team. Let's just say there's two players. All right, this is the thrower. We have an attacking player. That attacking player has a defender guarding them. Easy situation here. 2v1. There's always a 2 versus 1 situation. If they don't mark the thrower, and most teams don't put a player on the thrower, you can't jump in front of them and try to block it or anything like that. But most teams don't do it. I don't know why. They just don't do it. My teams always do it. So for our team, we're always going to mark the thrower. So now it's 2 versus 2. But the reason being, when it's 2 versus 1, we can throw it in, receive it, step back on, play it back to me, right? Very simple play. And now this player has to make a decision. Do they chase it? If they do, maybe we play this player up the line, right? If they sit back, then I can start dribbling and going in here in this space and and taking things on and stuff like that. So just throw it in, step back on. If I had this player here as a defender, we couldn't do that. Or it'd be a lot harder. So this little quick video shows exactly how to do it. You throw it into their foot, directly to their foot out of the air. All right, not to their chest, not bouncing up to their shins, or their thighs or anything like that. That's a difficult ball to handle. You play it right to their foot and they play it back. And just a quick, I found this today, so. See how I did that? Just a quick step back. The defender was close to him, and so he made a decision to pass it right back to that player. They can do things with that. So that's pretty simple. He threw it out of the air directly to his foot, right? Passed it right back on the ground. Simple play. Now, if the defender stays loose on him, if the defender doesn't play too tight on him, maybe they can turn around. So the defender's off of him. Maybe when you throw it in, this player can turn and go to goal, right? And take the ball with them. That's one idea. So, but let's just say they're really tight. Throwing this into this player might be a 50-50 ball. We don't want to make it a 50-50 ball. I think all throw-ins should go forward. That's my opinion. All right, so when you play for me, all throw-ins go forward. All right, I don't like throw-ins backwards. All right, I think too good of a chance we can. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. Too good a chance we could screw this up. Sometimes, even this video I just showed you. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you the right video there, so I need to stop that share. This was the video I was trying to show you. I messed up. All right, so he did that with his foot and played it right directly back. And instead of, it wasn't to his chest, it didn't bounce up to his knees. Step right back on, he could do something with it. All right, so back to our next screen share. I apologize. This is a webinar, so you can't raise your hand, you can't talk. You can just put Q&A or the chat at the bottom. You can ask a question, or if I forgot to share my screen like I just did, tell me. Sometimes I get lost, I get excited about this stuff. So I'll throw-ins forward. And so I pass it back to this player on a throw-in. This player could pressure him, lose it, and now we're in a bit of trouble, right? He goes in behind, and now we're got a counterattack. We have to shift defensively and all that type of thing. So I think a throw-in down here, if we don't have a good option, this player's not open, throw it down the line into the corner. All right, at a minimum, we could maybe chase it down and make something happen. But the other situation is this player on the other team could go pick it up, but we're pressuring them. Which way are they facing? They're going the wrong way. They're going back towards their own goal. They might have to pass it back to their goalie, or they might have to kick it out of bounds. If we put enough pressure on them, we can win the ball back down in this space. All right, so I think all throw-ins should be forward. That's my opinion. All right, so when we play, in Memphis, be ready for that. When we play our next tournaments, when you do something else with a different team, you have to do with what your coach expects of you. And I think playing for different coaches is great because you get different styles of play and you get different ideas of the game and things like that. But I think losing the ball down here is a heck of a lot better than losing the ball right here. That's my opinion. All right, so I think that's part of it. Then there's an isolation play I want to talk about. Isolation play on a throw-in. So let's say we have a throw-in way down here, deep in our territory. I don't want everyone piling up right over here because that just makes it really, really difficult to throw the ball in. Now, we still have a 2 versus 1 situation here, right? I could throw it into this player. or that's a 3 versus 2. This player could step on, but start further away. And what it will do, we might just say, hey, this might be Caden. Caden's good with his back to the goal. He's a big, strong guy. So we might yell Caden. The other team's not going to know who Caden is, so I'm not worried about it. All right, they're from all over the Midwest and the South, so no big deal. Caden. Isolation Caden. That's what we yell. ISO Caden. Caden checks to the ball. That player drags with him. This player might get open in here. All right, we throw it into Caden. We might be able to step back on and get a play back to him. But if there's a defender on us, we won't be able to do that. But then Caden might be in a situation where there's no offsides in the throw-in, so maybe you start a little even deeper. Start down here, get it from here, throw it into Caden down here. They turn, maybe beat the guy, maybe cross it, put it back in the mix, and we have other players in here as well, right? So that's just one idea on an isolation play. There's no offsides on a throw-in. The other thing you can do deep in your territory is if we have someone with a fairly long throw-in, is to throw it into this player, no offsides. All right, you can be down here and there's no defense on you. But the goal would be to redirect it back across. I see a lot of people try to do it from here and they throw it into this player and they try to bump it into this space. The problem is the goalie's coming out, right? But when you're down here, and if you can either head it across this way or kick it across this way, the goalie's kind of in limbo. They're stuck in this space and the ball's going away from them. And then this player might be able to run in and score it. All right. So that's another thing you can do on a throw in down our corner. But the isolation play is an amazing play. It works, I promise. This is a little video of it. I said I coached at Loras for a long time. We used it once. We were to go to the Final Four. We needed a goal. We were getting our long throw into the box wasn't working. We needed to isolate a player, and we did that. Isolation play to this player. He serves it, and we score. Pretty exciting day. We're the Final Four. Playing soccer in December, right? Pretty cool. All right, let's watch that again. So throws it in down the line. Sorry about that. This player going to isolate it. This player comes out to defend him. This player comes out. This is their biggest player. He was like 6'4". He came out to get the thrower. So we pulled him out thinking, they think, oh, they're going to play it back to him. Nope. He turned. Oh. All right, so we were able to pull some big players out of the box and then get that service off and have numbers in the box and create a goal. It's pretty fun stuff. So look for 2v1s, look for chances to isolate. Those things can help you out. So it's all about recognizing situations. That's all this is about, is recognizing situations so that when you get out on the field, we're in a better spot. We can go fast, we can make decisions, and we can recognize those situations so we're better off. Next, we're going to talk about free kicks and walls and stuff like that. First thing you need to know is the difference between indirect and direct. And I know, direct can go directly in the goal off a free kick. Indirect has to touch somebody, right? You can do a little short touch to somebody and they can kick it. It just has to move. It hits the goalie's hand, it counts, right? It bounces off another player on the other team, it still counts. So having some thoughts on that is important, and being ready for those situations to be able to go fast in case the situation presents itself that, hey, we can set it down, touch it to our friend, they score it, right? Our teammate. That's important to know. So what is direct kick fouls? Direct kick fouls are anything contact. Pushing, shoving, kicking, biting, punching, anything that's a contact foul and a handball. Those things are all direct kick fouls. So you should think about that, so as a player what the situation is ahead of time. All right. Again, direct is contact or handball. Everything else is indirect. Pass back to the keeper and they pick it up with their hands. Dangerous play, foul language, those types of things. They're all indirect kicks. All right. So just note that when you're getting ready to take a play and make a play, that, hey, I'm preparing myself for this situation. I know right away. It's indirect. Put it down. Tap it to somebody. Shoot it before the defense sets up a wall. Those types of things are important. So let's talk about walls. All right. We talked about this early in this season, right? We talked about a free kick way out here. How many people do we need in a wall? All right. I said if the wall is outside the box, I don't think we need a wall. All right, because I think all you're doing is blocking your keeper's vision from out here. Right now, 18 yards there. This is another maybe 12 yards out. This is a 30-yard free kick. I don't think we need a wall. All right, so the white team's getting ready to take a free kick. I think we should be marking up, depending on where they go. And we should have it sorted. I do think we should have one player, no matter where the free kick is. It could be on the other half of the field. I think we need one player. If they have one player on the ball, get ready to take the kick, I think we need one player in a wall. All right. Why do I think that? Well, this one player is 10 yards away. It's as close as they can be. And if this player passes it to there, this player is guarding this player now. They close in and that's their guy, their mark, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So if they put two players on the ball, how many are we going to have in a wall? Two. Same idea. They pass it here. This player comes here. This player comes here. And now we're playing. They don't let them have that short play. Okay. So depending on how many people they put in the wall or on the ball, on the free kick, we put that many in the wall when it's outside the box. Walls should be tight. You should interlink arms so the ball can't go through you between you and your teammate. Yes, that means, you can still have one arm to protect yourself a bit, but everything else, you should be linked arms so that the ball can't go through us. All right. Make sure we're doing that. So where do we have walls? All right. And how many do we have in a wall? Down on the end line and even on corner kicks, I would say we have one person if they have one. If they have two, we could have two, right? So we can prevent the short. We can prevent that little play there. But if they just have one player, they're going to probably serve it in. All right. We're going to have one in our wall. As we get in this area of the field, if the ball is here, we go to two. Right, as we get to the corner of the box, around the edge, we might have a 3-person wall. It's inside the box, don't forget. Walls are only inside the box. If we're setting this wall up outside the box, we don't need a wall, right? So let's say it's in here, 3-person wall, right in this space, okay? If it's right in here, probably a 4 or 5-person wall, depending on how close to the middle of the field is, all right? I would say maybe 4 right around here. If we're directly in the middle, maybe even 5 or 6. All right, we put that many in a wall and get tight together. Make sure we're blocking, we have we're set up that way. So now how do we set up a wall? All right. I think people in the wall should be our forwards and midfielders. All right. We want our defenders defending. All right. Marking these players. So I want our forwards in the wall. I want our tallest forward on the edge of the wall. That's not defending. We might say, hey, we might decide that one of our forwards is a really good defender in the air. We need them to mark somebody. I might tell you that. But the tallest of the remaining players that's in the wall should be on the near post. So let's just say it's over here. All right, we have let's just do a 4-person wall here just to make it a little more obvious. I think the keeper should be able to look here and draw a line between the last player halfway through their body, look between their legs and see that ball halfway through from the near post. That's how you set up your wall. All right. The wall's job is to kind of help cover this near side of the goal. The part of the wall, the part of the goal that's open is over here. If we have a lefty, that's why on this side of the goal, and we'll talk about attacking free kicks, I like on this side a left-footed free kick. All right, you can maybe bend it around and get in here in this space, or you could do a righty and get it in this space. All right, but they say on this side, this is a lot of times a left-footed free kick because you can get it up over the wall and get it into here. Whereas a righty has a harder time and it's slower to get there because it has to go around. Anyhow, goalie lines it up in between, right down the line from that player, that last player on the bench, halfway through their body, looking through their legs. And they set up a little bit on this side so that lefty has time, or they can cover that far side of the goal. And they can get there if they have time. They can cover that space because it has to come up and over. So that's the goal of the wall. On this side, if we were in the attack, I'd say it's a right-footed free kick. And it's going to be set up, the opposite way. And the goalie would be able to see that right through that player's legs. All right, and the wall is set up on this side. So 4 or 5 in the middle of the field, depending on where it's at. Everyone else is marking up. And don't let that runner come in there by defensively sitting back in here, right? The wall should be our offside, our holding where we hold offsides too. All right. So we don't want just free runners. We want to give that space to our goalkeeper. So if a ball goes in there, they can run out and get it, right? And we don't have to worry about this player, was camping in here and this person came back here to guard them. We don't play in that game of defense and letting them sneak behind the wall and that type of thing. So that's walls, different things with that. Like I said, this isn't anything that's, you got to communicate when you're out there. You got to know that, hey, we're setting up a 5-person wall. And who's making those calls? The goalie's making those calls. Hey, I want 5 in the wall right now, and take a step left, take a step right based on that angles that I just showed you and things like that. So that's an important part of it. Attacking free kicks, I say just shoot them. All right, we haven't practiced enough together to give us a chance to work on anything trick plays or anything like that. Shoot them, get ready for rebounds, give ourselves a chance to score. Anything free kicks, way out here, whatever, serve them in the box, give us a chance. Let's get it, but a pet peeve of mine, sometimes I see free kicks here. And I see our team kind of lines up all over, scattered, kind of, all over the field and stuff like that. Our goal is to send it to the far post over in this space to head it back in, right? Or to play it in. We don't need players over here, right? Because we're going to play it, maybe one player to maybe pick up a bad header or something like that. But I think players should be all on this side, and we try to whip a ball into this space behind the players. All right, it's really important that free kicks get over the defense. Because if we go short and it doesn't get over the defense, and this player wins it, we got 5 players behind this player, and they start going. We got to play catch up, right, on the counterattack. So it's really important if we have a free kick that goes over the defense, right? And into this space. Even if the goalie comes and gets it, we're going to have time to all retreat, right? Or even if it goes out of bounds, we're all going to have time to retreat, all right? But if you don't get it over, all right, we've put ourselves in a precarious position for a counterattack, all right? So just be aware of that. But let's shoot it. Let's serve it. Let's get it over the defense. Let's get ourselves a chance on goal. And even if it goes out of bounds, I'm not going to be frustrated. When I will get frustrated is if we don't get a shot off and we're in shooting range, or we don't get a chance, or it doesn't go over the end line or those types of things, or over the defense. That's when frustration, we got to do the little things right. Less chance of them scoring because they can't get a counterattack. All right, so we'll talk about corner kicks next. And indirect free kick in the box. I forgot about one thing. Let's just say there's indirect free kick. We passed it back to our goalkeeper. Our goalkeeper picked it up. All right. And it's inside the box. Obviously, it has to touch somebody. First off, if we have it, if it's our kick, grab the ball, set it down, get a teammate with you, tap it to them, and shoot it before they can set up their wall. And do it before the other team gets in the way. If we're on defense, grab the ball, throw it out of bounds, kick it, punt it, take a yellow card if you need to. There are good yellow cards in this sport. We saw one yesterday. If anyone saw Feyenoord's goalkeeper, he slid out of bounds and knocked the ball out of bounds. They were going to take a quick throw in, and he was out of the goal. And he threw a ball that was waiting on the sideline onto the field so now there were 2 balls on the field, and they had to stop the game, and he got a yellow card. Well, he prevented a goal. So I think that was pretty smart. Anyhow, if we're on defense, someone kick the ball away or grab it or hold on to it as tight as you can. But don't be afraid to do that, because this situation happens once in a very blue moon, but it can be super deadly, right? So we pass it back to the keeper, they pick it up. If it's inside the 6, they get it from right here on the 6-yard line. I think everybody on the whole team, all 11 players, should come back and get in a wall right on the end line. All right, we should get all 11 players in there, plus our goalie. I'm not going to put all 11 in because it's just getting crowded right now. All right, 9. We're bunching up. These guys are too big for the goal. 10. And then the goalie is in front of the wall, because as soon as it's touched by this player, who's going to pass to this player, that goalie can run out, use their hands, and jump on it, right? So that's a defensive thing. So just a quick, I have a quick video of it real quick. I'll make a quick share. It's kind of funny. I saw this today when I was looking for some stuff. So you see this one. They're all lined up in the wall. They're doing the same thing. Wait for the whistle. They're going to do a little indirect play. All the blue team is in there, and they're kind of blocking it. The goalie's not in front here, but they should be, in my opinion. But here's another one. All right. So the keeper ran out, and another player ran out to slide. The player did a nice job. He hit it high, because that's the only place that there was a chance, right? He hit it really, really high. And so I think that was a nice job on the attacking piece. But they did a good job getting their whole wall back there. But just kind of some fun stuff. But it does happen once a season, maybe once every 2 seasons, but you have to be ready for it when it does happen. All right, let's talk corner kicks real quick, and offensively and defensively, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, I don't want to be more than 40 minutes. That was kind of my goal tonight. So first off, we'll talk about attacking corner kicks. I like in-swingers, right? So I like, on this side of the field, I like a lefty to take it and swing it into this space. This is the most deadly spot. I like it. This is where I'd love it to be every time. It's over the goalie's head into a space where this player can either sometimes knock it in, they can knock it back, depending on where it comes in. We'll talk about those positions here in a second. All right. So positionally, where we're going to be, we're always going to put one player on the goalkeeper. All right. So you're going to hear me yell that, get on the keeper. We need somebody on the keeper. Their job is to beat the keeper to anything in this space. All right. And also redirect anything. And typically their team is going to put a player on you too. So now you have a goalkeeper on you and a player. All right. You can't be budging up against them or fighting with them and, leaning on them and stuff like that, but just be annoying enough, right? It's okay in that spot. I think this is the deadly spot I just mentioned. Start here, maybe even further out here, because you can run. It's easier to run in than it is to backpedal and run out, right? So start in that position. So when the ball comes in, you can run onto it and do different things. All right, but that's the killer position. I think 2 players right in here. One's going to the penalty spot. One's going into this space, okay? Try to win anything in here. All right, we have 1 player sitting up here, top of the box. Anything that bounces out, they can shoot back in. We can send more players in. Here's my rule of thumb on sending players in. So if the other team has one forward up here, so they're there, one forward for the counterattack. We need two defenders back here to defend them. One kind of sitting on them, another one a little bit of support, right? If they leave two forwards up, how many defenders should we keep back? 3. All right, we should have 3 just to have a man-up situation so they can't win that counterattack against it. The keeper gets it, plays it quickly, and we're sorted. All right. One other position I forgot to add was the near post, right here on the edge of the 6. All right, there should be somebody right here that can win anything into this space. All right, they play it short, and we miskick it. It's on the ground. This player gets it. They can maybe pass it back here. They can turn and shoot. They can redirect it into this space. All right, because typically there's going to be a player right in here on their back as well, right? We're going to have defenders on us. We need to be able to sort them out. If we don't have a in-swinging player, that's okay. We don't have a righty on this side. Typically, righties shouldn't be hard to come by. It's the lefties on this side. That's okay, but you just need to start your runs for these couple players a little further back because it's most likely going to bend outwards, right? So don't start way in here if it's going to be bending away from us. Start a little further out. You can run in on it. So recognize, is this a righty or a lefty taking it? And adjust your position accordingly. Details matter, okay? We can also do a short corner. I'm good with that. All right. And maybe one of these players, typically actually would probably be one of these. I like to test these players. Like, if I go, is he going to go with me? If I go in here, is he going to go with me? Because if they don't, we test them a little bit, maybe we can play that pass in there, right? But they're probably going to go with you. They've probably never seen anything like it. Usually 4 defenders sit back here. I don't believe in that. I'm sending the numbers. We're going to score on corner kicks. We're going to score on set plays. But set for a short corner, it may look like this. 2 versus 1 situation, right? Where'd my little soccer ball go? Pass to this player quick, run around them. Depending on what this player does, pass it to this player. They can whip it into that space, right? The only thing you need to recognize as these players is if it comes out here, the defense may step out and we need to get on sides, right? So that's another thing. The other thing with a short corner is you might want to do it this way. Now there's a hash right here defensively. It's 10 yards from the corner. All right, that the player has to line up at. So if you're not 10 yards away, look at where that hash is. You start off the field, there's a little mark. Make sure they're standing there. If they're not, tell the referee, hey, I want 10 yards. All right, this one, if you pass it here, 2 balls on the field. You pass it here, step back here, pass it back. All right, less time for that wall or those defenders to jump forward and go out. So that's just a couple quick corner kick things in terms of positioning and defensively. If they have 2 forwards, we have 3 defenders. If they have 1, we could get away with 2. It's late in the game. We're down a goal. We're going to try to send more numbers. We might go 1 for 1. We might send everybody and see what they do. It's the last couple minutes of the game. We might send our goalkeeper. We got to manage the game correctly. We're going to talk about managing the game here at the end. All right. So let's talk about defense. For now, let me just let me clear it out. It's going to be easier. All right. So if they put somebody in our goalie, we're going to have somebody. I think our goalie can manage that player. I don't think we need to waste an extra player on the goalie. I do think we have somebody here to block any of that stuff in that area. Depending on how many they have on the ball. If they have 1, how many do we have on the ball? 1. All right. If they have 2 in the corner, we have how many defenders? 2. All right, we're going to man for man it on corners just to make life a little bit easier. Let's say they have 3 players out here. We're going to have 3 players out here. We talked about the physicality of it when we were training this winter. And a couple different times we had some sessions and we talked about, don't just let them have a free run. Make them run into you. Body them up a bit. It's not going to get called for a foul. We're getting to that age where you can do that stuff. All right. We are going to have at least a player on the far post. All right. If not two. And now we have what? 9 players back there because one of them's our goalie. All right. We might keep one player up. I'm good with one. I usually bring everybody back to defend. Let's not give up a goal on a corner kick. Let's make sure everybody's marked. They're probably going to have another player in here anyhow. So let's make sure we have everybody marked. And let's make them have to worry about us and stuff like that. So, and then late in the game, we're winning. How many guys are we going to have? We'll have to bring all 11 back and defend it. All right. Manage the game. All right. So the positions that aren't marking people are here and the posts. All right. And the posts are lined up inside the post, making the goal a little bit smaller because you're using your body. If it gets past the goalie, comes in here and it gets past the goalie, you could be there to save it with your feet or with your chest or with your head. I've seen enough. They're called back saves. I've seen enough back saves in my life that those things can happen. So that's just a little bit about corners. And like I said, if we're winning 1-0 late in the game, let's get everybody back on defense. All 11 players. Let's make sure we're all marked. Let's make sure everything's taken care of and we shut the game down and we get the W, right? If we're managing the game correctly, late in the game, we take our time on set plays. All right. If we're winning, take our time. So we kill some clock, right? Take our time getting to the corner. Don't kick it right away. Wait for players to step in and wait for the referee to say, hey, we got to go. Just let the clock tick away and give us a chance to burn more clock. If we're losing, let's go quicker, right? Let's make sure we take full advantage of that. Let's send everybody. If we're losing a game and there's a couple minutes left and we get a corner kick, I'm not afraid to send our goalie in, right? I've done it a million times, right? I had a goalie at Loris on my women's team for a long time. She scored like 6 goals in the season. We'd send her in all the time to score goals. So I'm not afraid to do that if the situation is right. So manage the game properly, depending on the situation. This is a kind of a fun goal that I found today, just to kind of end it. Last minutes of a game, stoppage time. This team's down 1-0. They send the goalie in. Let's see if I can get it to move. And I love a celebration. So pretty fun. Goalkeeper came in, scores a bicycle kick, right, to tie the game. Pretty fun stuff. So manage the game, but have some fun with it. We're losing, why not throw the kitchen sink at them? Losing 1-0 and losing 2-0 is the same to me. So why not send everybody and try to win the game late in the game? And I've seen enough times where it's worked out. So we'll do some of that stuff too. But I think that's all important things. If there's questions, feel free. Otherwise, hopefully that's some good information for you. Just little details to manage through the course of the game that I'll be looking for. There's scouts at Memphis to look at MLS Next and regional teams and things like that. So those are all important things to what's your soccer IQ? What level is it at? And those are things that can make a difference. And if you aren't traveling to Memphis, these are little things that can separate you next time because you know what you're doing a little bit more than the next guy. So, all right, thanks for joining me tonight. Hopefully this was helpful information. We'll see you all in Memphis in a little less than 2 weeks. And I saw the temperature is going to be 65. So pretty excited. Have a great night.